League Cup final, Notts Forest and Liverpool. Production number 44287, day recorded the 19th of March 78, take 1.
Welcome to the 1978 Football League Cup final between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. It was a day when they arrived in their thousands, wondering how Brian Clough's high-flying Nottingham Forest side would cope with Bob Paisley's Liverpool of super efficiency, skill and proven quality. But they left talking of only one thing, the boy who made the headlines today, Forest's 18-year-old keeper, Chris Woods, who had the sort of day that most lads of his age can only dream about. And you can see today those saves from young Chris that produced those headlines. The youngster who'd never before been to Wembley, even as a spectator, and had never played in the First Division. There are things about this game I think that'll delight you. And when you've seen them, we'll take you into the dressing rooms to get the verdicts from the men in the centre of it all. And more action too, as we bring you the goals from yesterday's Scottish League Cup final between Rangers and Celtic at Hampden Park. But first, let's go back to 10-3 yesterday afternoon and peer once more into that Wembley tunnel.
The first sign of the afternoon of the Nottingham Forest manager, Brian Clough there. And behind him, his Forest team. I wonder what sort of an afternoon it's going to be for this man who has transformed first Derby County and now Nottingham Forest, with Bob Paisley, who's had so much success himself with Liverpool, not least as European champions. So Brian Clough with John McGovern, who'd been doubtful earlier in the week with a groin injury. The young goalkeeper there, Chris Woods. Now, what's he going to feel about just 18 years old? Larry Lloyd, who's been to Wembley with Liverpool. Ian Bowyer, who's been to Wembley for the League Cup final with Manchester City. Tony Woodcock, the man they'll be looking for goals from him. John Robertson, very much in the running for a Scottish World Cup place. Viv Anderson, the young fullback at England under-21. Kenny Burns, a big, strong man at the back. Martin O'Neill, the nippy little Irishman. Frank Clark, the defender, who gets in because Colin Barrett is injured. John O'Hare, the substitute. And Peter With, a man with 18 goals to his credit this season. As we come to Liverpool, Phil Thompson and Ray Kennedy and Phil Neal. All these men know what Wembley is about. Jimmy Case, who scored in the Cup final last May against Manchester United. David Fairclough, the substitute, a man who scores so many important goals. Indeed, Tommy Smith as well in that European Cup final in Rome. As they come now towards the tunnel entrance and the crowd. So you've seen them, and now the crowd will see them as Lee Walker of the Football League leads out the two managers and the two teams for the 1978 Football League Cup final. Brian Clough has held everybody up. Now, what's that all about? He's getting the Forest players to wave to the Forest crowd. That's never happened before, where the manager has held up the walking on ceremony. But that, after all, is Brian Clough. Outstripping Bob Paisley at the moment. Marching very purposely there towards the royal box. And now wondering what he has to do next. But Bob Paisley is his own man, calm and serene. And there, leading that little gaggle of Forest reserves, is the assistant manager, Peter Taylor, in the centre there. The man Brian Clough wanted to walk out with him because Brian Clough knows just how much Peter Taylor has meant to the re-emergence of Nottingham Forest as a great club. But Peter Taylor walks on the outskirts. Brian Clough is in the centre of all the attention. The team's then to be presented to the Right Honourable the Earl of Harwood, the great Leeds United man himself. And he's having a word with Chris Woods, the 18-year-old keeper. And Peter Weir, I wonder if there'll be a special word for the manager. Enjoying every moment of it. Now the turn of Liverpool, and their captain Emlyn Hughes, who's almost got a season ticket to this place now, and look how relaxed he is. He might get around to presenting his team as well. To Phil Thompson, and to Ray Kennedy, who's been here with Arsenal as well as with Liverpool. Phil Neal there. So after the presentations, here are the teams. Liverpool, their expected and announced side: Clements, Neal, Smith, Thompson, Kennedy, Hughes, Dalglish, Case, Highway, McDermott and Callaghan, with Fairclough the substitute. And no late scares in the Nottingham Forest side. Woods, Anderson, Clark, who's in for Barrett, who's injured, McGovern, Lloyd and Burns, O'Neill, Bowyer, with Woodcock and Robertson, with their substitute O'Hare. The referee, Pat Partridge from Durham. So, Brian Clough already in shirt sleeves, Peter Taylor and Jimmy Gordon. And away we go. Liverpool in a change triple wide, attacking the goal to our left. It was Forest who won the toss to be able to play in their familiar red shirts with white shorts. Oh, Kenny Burns lost it in the air. Dalglish is through. Is this going to be a goal right at the start? It's not. It could have been a goal in 17 seconds, but Dalglish incredibly lost his head. Well, look at the pain on his face. Well, that was a bad mistake by Kenny Burns in the opening seconds. Over his head it went, and Dalglish had a great chance. There it is, over his head. Dalglish with a great chance. Woods did well there. He covered it well, and Dalglish lost his head badly. That's a throw to Nottingham Forest. Kenny Burns finding Martin O'Neill. Anderson has gone ahead of him. With, back again for O'Neill, a touch for Viv Anderson. But stopped by Kennedy, McGovern. Oh, nice bit of play by Martin O'Neill. Well, my word, that was no more than 6 inches wide of the far post. He curled that in beautifully. I thought for a moment that was going to be 3 or 4 yards wide. But this tricky little Irishman coming into the Liverpool penalty area, look how close in the end that is from that far post. Larry Lloyd, now Robertson. Played in for Bowyer. Very underrated player, Bowyer, but he's done well this season for Forest. Kenny Burns, oh, it's planted too firmly. Burns, so long the steadying influence this season for Forest, is taking a little time to find his feet, I think, at the moment. There's a lovely cross there by to Kennedy from McDermott. And here's McGovern. Hughes. Liverpool holding the whip hand at the moment. Jimmy Case. What a powerful shot he's got. And there's another one. But wide. Woods was scrambling across his goal. A lot of space here for Jimmy Case. Lining it up. Always going just that little bit wide. Peter Weir taken nicely on his chest. Here's Bowyer, played through for Woodcock. Now, Woodcock with the shot just wide. And the first time that Forest have exploded after Liverpool had made perhaps the more comfortable start. Nice piece of interplay with there to Bowyer. Woodcock on the turn, beating Phil Neal, but also beating the post. Robertson keeping it in expertly, faced by Jimmy Case. And the ball in play, finding this time Ian Bowyer. Now it's out of play. Might be a free kick. It is a free kick for Nottingham Forest for the foul on Tony Woodcock. Larry Lloyd up again. 2, 4, 5, 6 red shirts in and around that Liverpool penalty area. Peter With right in there. Tony Woodcock with a shot. Bowyer hoping to turn it, but the whistle had gone. Wasn't a linesman's flag, it was a referee's decision there, and offside against Ian Bowyer. A situation that was always looking a little bit interesting there for Nottingham Forest. Woodcock couldn't get a clear shot on goal, and Bowyer caught offside. Tremendous kick by Clements. And a good jump by Larry Lloyd as well. McGovern, oh, he's given it away to Jimmy Case. Oh, my word, that could hardly have been closer. Well, that would have really have been of Nottingham Forest's own making. The ball given away here by John McGovern, straight into the path of all people of Jimmy Case of the blistering shot. And how close it was with Chris Wood stranded. Hughes. And now Kennedy. Hughes, Highway. Callaghan. Curling in, a dangerous one there. Larry Lloyd is up and he had to be up well. Case, oh, well saved there. And McGovern can get it away. And Case has got it back. A bad pass out that by the Nottingham Forest side. And another good save by the youngster. Hit straight at him with great power, it's true, but he held on to it from Terry McDermott. The first one was a very good save indeed. This is the second one from McDermott, but he also made a very good reaction save from Jimmy Case. And here we are now with Hughes. Callaghan. Thompson right in there. Burns. And Bowyer. Well, he was pushed there. There was a clear push by Emlyn Hughes on Bowyer. It's got to be a free kick, if anything, to Nottingham Forest, surely. But Emlyn's got away with it, and it's a throw. Highway. O'Neill. With turning well. Nice pass there for Woodcock. And away he goes. Smith is after him. Neal cutting across, turned inside, and he very nearly found Peter With, but Tommy Smith was back. What a brilliant break, though, by Tony Woodcock. On he went with Smith after him. He turned it inside, but it didn't quite reach Peter With. Hughes. Being challenged by Martin O'Neill and beaten by him. Forrest getting that one well, and Woodcock's on his way. Clements is out of his goal. Look how far he was out. He must have been a good 12 yards outside his penalty area. but it worked. Woodcock striding through again, just onside. And just look how far Clements comes out. He's onside. And Clements in the end gets it away. Now Bowyer. That's a good-looking shot. And Forest are having a better time of it. Still no goals with 10 minutes to go to half-time. But Ian Bowyer with 6 goals in 6 League Cup ties this season, letting fly left foot from 20 yards over the Liverpool crossbar. It's very hard to attract a player's attention. I think Brian Clough had that in mind at that moment. So they're a fair way away. It's very difficult for a manager there to attract a player's attention. Oh, what a good turn there on Larry Lloyd. He skinned him there. Highway's up, Case is up on the far side. Forrester backing off. Now Case. Oh, and now McDermott, and a goal! They're off their seats on the bench, and it's been disallowed. Well, what was the infringement there? There must have been an offside as that ball swept past Chris Woods from Terry McDermott, and Liverpool are disappointed. No, they say it wasn't. But as Terry McDermott struck it, there must have been an offside. Phil Neal. Anderson not getting to that one. It looked a bit like a shove in the back too on Kennedy. Highway being challenged by Frank Clark. And a throw to Liverpool. In the last minute of the first half now. Case playing it back. Highway. Neal hitting in the early ball there towards Ray Kennedy. He got up well, he nodded it down well. The only problem was that it was always going wide. Good early ball played in there by Liverpool. Up above them all was Ray Kennedy, but the direction was awful. I think Liverpool have had the better of this first half. They've looked the more purposeful side. And here's Dalglish. Terry McDermott always seems to be a man spare, as Callaghan was there, and indeed as Emlyn Hughes is here. That's a dangerous looking cross, played behind, oh my word, almost into his own goal by Frank Clark. Well, the youngsters' reactions were good there. Emlyn Hughes' cross, and in the end it could have been an own goal, but for Chris Woods. Coming right to half-time now. And indeed, there is the half-time whistle. No goals, so the managers go off to those Wembley dressing rooms now. It's Brian Clough. Maybe to try and put a little bit more fire into Forest. Terry McDermott, who had the ball in the Forest net, only to have it ruled out, presumably for offside. And indeed, he almost got on the score sheet as well. Frank Clark in the very last moment of the first half. An own goal, but it was saved on the line by goalkeeper Chris Woods, who did all that Forest would have asked of him in this first half, and he'll be glad to have got that 45 minutes behind him. Liverpool looking at the more purposeful side, but as yet they haven't broken Forest down. So we leave Wembley for a moment with a half-time score then at the stadium in this Football League Cup final. Liverpool 0, Nottingham Forest 0, and we'll be back with the second half. Welcome back to Wembley. 0-0 in this Football League Cup final. Nottingham Forest in the dark shirts now attacking the goal to our left. Forest, who've got this far by beating West Ham, Notts County, Villa, Bury and Leeds. Liverpool by way of Chelsea, Derby, Coventry, Wrexham and Arsenal. And Liverpool, in fact, looking more purposeful, a little more businesslike in the first half. They'd had more of the game without any question. Now it's Neil. Highway. Neil. Callaghan. Case has stolen into that Nottingham Forest penalty area. Well, that wasn't a good ball there for Hughes, but Kennedy picked it up before O'Neill could get to it. One of these little situations where the ball constantly just seems to be outside the grasp of Nottingham Forest. And here's Emlyn Hughes. Going a long way forward. Good save! Oh, what a good save by Chris Woods. Well, that tells what a good save it was. Emlyn Hughes could hardly believe it. Caught it on his right foot superbly. 20 yards out, and the youngster was across beautifully. The first really authentic save that a goalkeeper's had to make in this game, and it's made by Chris Woods, and it's made well. McDermott, just the little nod in there. Larry Lloyd getting it away not very far. And this time, Chris Woods saves well from Kennedy. Well, that's Callaghan, but there's an offside against Case, who hadn't got back quickly. Kenny Dalglish. Robertson. They're giving the ball away a lot at the moment, Forest. And that challenge by Clark didn't stop Kenny Dalglish. Now Kennedy. Thundering a left-foot shot. Oh, and he's lost it this time. And he just about saved it before Dalglish could get in. Kenny Dalglish just concerned for a moment that he may have injured Chris Woods. The first semblance of a mistake there by Chris Woods. That shot by Kennedy, he didn't hold it. He made life difficult for Dalglish, and the luck went his way. The cross coming in now from Callaghan, and a goal kick. Pat Partridge just making sure that Chris Woods' right wrist is okay, where he must have taken a knock from Kenny Dalglish. 9 minutes of the second half gone. Of course, there is provision for extra time in this game, and Bob Paisley wanting 1 or 2 changes made in that Liverpool formation. Ball played nicely there, and a good interception by Phil Neal. Peter With. And now Callaghan. Played into the path of Terry McDermott. Jimmy Case now. Ian Callaghan. Phil Neal. Dalglish. Dermott didn't quite link up with Dalglish that time. Forest massing in force, but at the expense of a free kick given away by Ian Bowyer. So a moment of anxiety. His voice won't carry that far. Phil Neal stepping over it. Jimmy Case, will he blast it? No, he's chipped it towards Ray Kennedy. Too high for him. Viv Anderson has missed his kick completely. And Phil Thompson playing it back for Emlyn Hughes. Forest making 1 or 2 very elementary mistakes. And again, young Chris Woods getting beautifully behind a shot from Terry McDermott. Well, he's turning out to be a real hero. John O'Hare, just a question of who they're going to take off. I wouldn't be at all surprised if it's not John McGovern, who really has struggled with his groin. And it's Kennedy coming forward again for Liverpool. The long shot deflected, and again Woods well behind it. Martin O'Neill battling away, giving away the free kick to Liverpool. And in fact, it's John McGovern who's going off. There he is, number 4. They've attracted the referee's attention. John McGovern, who'd never been to Wembley before, although he's been a pro for some 10 years. It can't be the happiest of places for him as he goes off to the bench. He's really suffered. He's been in a lot of pain. Phil Neal to Ian Callaghan. Case. Well, Dalglish. Look at the agony there. And again, this deadly finisher, Kenny Dalglish, found a yard of space on the edge of the box, did well there, but wide of the goal again. Attack broken up by Kenny Burns, finding John Robertson. Free kick. As John Robertson now takes the free kick for Nottingham Forest. Larry Lloyd's going in there. Oh! Well, a goalkeeper who hasn't had much to do suddenly called in to make really what should have been quite a simple save. That cross from Robertson came floating in. Larry Lloyd was there, and it was a fumble by Clements. That's with Highway. McDermott. Spread wide to Kennedy. The gentle nod back for Hughes. Callaghan. Highway again. Surely only a matter of time before Liverpool do break this deadlock, but it's still 0-0. It's a corner for Liverpool, and it's 8 minutes to go. So John O'Hare, having done his boots up, gets back into that Forest penalty area as Highway now tries an in-swinging corner, curling in there, and Woods didn't get to that one. Oh, and he did get to that, though, from Jimmy Case. He missed the first one, but he just got down to that one from Case. 1 minute. Now Woodcock. Little pass played in there to O'Hare. Now Woodcock. Oh, and it took a great save. Can O'Neill turn it back? Can With turn it in? My word, it still hasn't gone out of play. But Forest came within a fraction of a second, really, of snatching that game dramatically away from Liverpool. Woodcock on the turn. Got a shot in, and it was a truly great save by Ray Clements. And Martin O'Neill couldn't quite turn it back. He got it to With, but With couldn't turn it in. Another hard look at Pat Partridge's watch. And that's the end of 90 minutes. And so we face 30 minutes of extra time. Basically, because of this man, Chris Woods, the 18-year-old, who's had a marvellous game. And also, you must admit, because of this man, who brought off that miraculous save from Tony Woodcock right at the death. Well, the extraordinary thing is, look, Brian Clough and Peter Taylor sitting on the bench there when you would have thought the managers would have been straight out there to tell their players what they want. In fact, he sent John McGovern. Bob Paisley's going out, in fact, to have a word with the referees. Well, David Fairclough there, stripping off. Liverpool clearly are going to bring on their substitute. at the start of this period of extra time. So Ray Kennedy is the man who's gone off, and David Fairclough the man who's come on for Liverpool. So here we go into the first period of extra time, and a long kick by Ian Callaghan, trying to get a goal in something like 4 seconds at the start of the period of extra time. It didn't work out. He thought he might catch Chris Wood's cold, but he didn't. 15 minutes each way. McDermott. And O'Hare. And Robertson. Floodlights coming on. Lloyd. Anderson. Well, he's gone in a long way, and it wasn't the shot he wanted. But that's the first time that Viv Anderson, who's got a great reputation as coming forward and having a whack at goal, has got anywhere near the Liverpool penalty area. John McGovern, who relayed any messages that Brian Clough and Peter Taylor wanted for the players before this period of extra time. Clark beating Fairclough. Here's Woodcock. Bowyer holding on to it a little too long. The strong challenge from Tommy Smith, taking it away from him, and away for Liverpool now comes Fairclough with Dalgleish supporting him. McDermott away on the left. Here's McDermott. Oh, what a good catch. That's McDermott, but that's the hero. What a tremendous afternoon young Chris Woods has had. Well, I wonder if we're going to get a second successive goalless League Cup final at Wembley. Last year, Aston Villa and Everton. But here's O'Neill. Oh, he's hit that in now. Larry Lloyd trying to press that down and trying again. And in fact, it's Woodcock over that Liverpool crossbar. Larry Lloyd right in there in really dangerous position, that for Liverpool, and nodded, rather hooked over in the end by Woodcock. It's a Liverpool throw. Fairclough. Ball still in play. Fairclough very shrewdly finding Ian Callaghan there. But Callaghan hitting it straight at O'Neill. Played forward for Peter With to go bounding forward. O'Hare up with him. The whistle had gone for the end of the first period of extra time, which on my watch finished about 15 seconds early. So there is a straight change around here. And the managers naturally have to stay put now. A smile there on the face of Brian Clough, and some animation on the Liverpool bench from Ronnie Moran. Clements at that end. Chris Woods getting a great reception at the other end from the Forest fans at that end of the field, which he well deserves. And Pat Partridge making the last adjustment to the watch. There are now 15 minutes of this Wembley final to go, and still the deadlock to be broken. Burns. This is where we might get the mistakes, and the agony and the joy that go with it. because now there must be 22 very tired footballers out there, 20 at least, other than the 2 substitutes. Anderson. Burns playing it straight to Dalglish. Fairclough's onside. Larry Lloyd played him there. Brought down by Lloyd, and a yellow card for Larry Lloyd. Deliberately chopping down David Fairclough in full flight. It was Lloyd who had played him onside. There's Fairclough on his way. And Lloyd going in there, as you can see, taking the man and quite probably getting a yellow card. So, a free kick for Liverpool to be taken by Emlyn Hughes. Driven in there. Kenny Burns bravely got his head in the way. McDermott touching it now. Dalglish on the turn once more. Well, that was a good piece of defence by Lloyd. But it's another corner for Liverpool. About 11 minutes to go. McDermott now to Neil. And now for Callaghan. Hughes, Thompson, nicked on again for Fairclough, getting in behind that defence, and another corner for Liverpool. Case, the little chip. Smith turning it back, but behind, and a goal kick. And Lloyd now breaking out for Nottingham Forest. Tried to flick that pass away to With, and Lloyd went down, and I think Tommy Smith is going to get the yellow card now. Well, as Larry Lloyd went roaring forward, Tommy Smith hacked him down. Here's Lloyd coming out quickly, and Tommy Smith going in there. Hughes, oh, what a good cross there, and Lloyd meeting it. Case, chance there, and it's gone away. Well, Jimmy Case, the man with the ferocious shot, missed a chance for Liverpool there. Hughes getting it in. Larry Lloyd really only half getting a header to it, hit on the volley and always going up. Got a minute to go. And the bench are signalling furiously to the Forest players that there is 1 minute to go only. O'Neill. Well, Forest very nearly stole it in the last minute of normal time with that shot by Tony Woodcock, superbly saved by Clements. And now this has come their way as O'Neill is brought down, but the whistle has gone and it's all over. In fact, we didn't play the full 15 minutes of the second half of extra time, and it means they've got to play again at Old Trafford on Wednesday. Kenny Dalglish must regret particularly that chance of his that went begging in the opening 15 seconds, but the real hero for Nottingham Forest, 18-year-old Chris Woods. He'd never been to Wembley before inside the stadium. Now he's been there, and he's played supremely well, showing so few signs of nerves. One little mistake that he very quickly corrected, and very, very correct goalkeeping for the whole of the time. He'll be pleased with himself, and he's got to do it all again, like everybody else now, at Old Trafford on Wednesday night. Colin Barrett there giving him a little warm handshake. Peter Taylor going off with Joe Fagan. And the fans, unbelievable to think the two sides like Forest and Liverpool should have played for 120 minutes and not provided them with a single goal.
Well, it means, of course, the teams must replay at Old Trafford, Manchester on Wednesday night, a match that you can see exclusively on ITV at 10:30 on Wednesday. And indeed, you're bound to see a definite result this time. The Football League have decided that if it's level after extra time, the match will be decided on penalties. But what about young Chris Woods? As he combed his hair in the dressing room afterwards, there must have been a warm glow about him. Certainly there was warm praise from Liverpool's Ray Clements.
Well, it's tremendous. I mean, it's apparently nobody doubted his ability. I mean, the lad played in the England youth team, so he's got the ability anyway. It was a tremendous test of his temperament out there today. And he made a couple of easy saves early on, which obviously gave him confidence. And then he went on from there, and he held virtually everything. In fact, he only dropped one ball, and he got away with that. Kenny got onto it quick, but he managed to get down and smother it out for a corner. So full of praise for the lad. You know, just hope he doesn't play like that on Wednesday.
No. You thought before the game, you told us you thought he might freeze. There was absolutely no sign of that, is it?
Well, obviously he did a lot better than I did in my first cup final, because I did freeze, and there was no signs of that whatsoever.
It was a big day for Chris, and like I said beforehand, you know, he's got nothing to prove. He's just got to go out and play and enjoy it. But he certainly proved a point today. You know, what a great goalkeeper he is likely to be.
What was it about him that most impressed you?
Confidence, I think. You know, he made some very good saves on the floor, but you know, he came and took a couple of balls in the air, which you know, I felt was the making of what goalkeeping's all about, and I think he showed there in those two instances real assurance and confidence.
He did really well, and Wembley's not the best place to come as a youngster. And that, I mean, I know at my age now, I'm a bit, but as I say, he did tremendously well.
Well, I thought I would be, you know, a little bit nervous, more nervous than what I was, but when I got out there, when we went out for a walk, I felt, you know, with all the other players around me, it was, you know, a really tremendous feeling. And then when we went out, I was just looking forward to it, that was all.
Yeah. Because you made some good saves, didn't you? Which pleased you most of all?
I think the one that pushed past the post, I was lucky with the other one that, you know, rebounded out. I just see him kept coming in. I didn't think.
Yeah, well, the one that you half saved, I think, was from Ray Kennedy. And you just got there before Kenny Dalglish.
That's right. Yeah, really smashed it against me wrist.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was a tremendous save from Emlyn Hughes that you made when you went across the face of the goal. Can't say you've forgotten that.
I don't know. I can't think of it actually.
Does it in fact, does the whole Wembley experience become a bit of a blur as it goes on, or what? What were you conscious of out there? A lot of noise, or?
I was trying to put the noise, you know, out of my mind. Really, it's just concentrate on playing in the game. Just trying to talk to the players, and they talking to me.
What did they say to you during the course of the game?
There was, you know, just helping me all the time, just inspiring me, kept telling me, you know, you're doing this right, and it was really great.
Yeah. Did any of the Liverpool players say anything to you?
Not many of them. You know, they all says, you know, good luck before the match. But,
did they?
Yeah.
Did they?
Ray Clements, he was great. He shook my hands, like, and I know him because he knows, you know, John Middleton.
Yes, who used to be a Nottingham Forest keeper. Yeah. And may I ask you what Brian Clough said to you at the end of the game?
He says, you know, congratulations, well played.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got your whole family here, hadn't you?
Yes, yeah. Somewhere, I couldn't find
somewhere.
them.
No, but they saw you all right.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I hope so.
This must go down as the greatest day in your football career so far, Chris,
it is,
by a long, long way.
Yeah. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
But yesterday's goalless draw was not down simply to Chris Woods, because at the other end, that superb technician Ray Clements brought off a brilliant save in the dying moments of normal time. From Tony Woodcock, we see it from behind Ray's goal here. And really, it denied Forest a victory. They never seemed likely to get Ray Clements.
Well, that's been Ray's strength over the years, hasn't it? I mean, he's been virtually unemployed for the last 7 years, and he's called on to make saves, and he does them. That's why he's the best in the business.
Mind you got the ball in the net once, didn't you?
Yes, it must have been very close. We didn't see, well, I don't know what the TV showed up.
No, we haven't looked closely at it ourselves yet, Bob, but I think it must have been presumably for an offside, wasn't it?
Well, the linesman gave it, and I thought, you know, we didn't see anybody there.
And the linesman was right. In fact, all three officials had a good game yesterday. Here's Jimmy Case playing the ball inside, and as Terry McDermott connects, look on the left, Kenny Dalglish beyond the last line of Nottingham Forest players, and clearly within the eye line of Chris Woods, the goalkeeper, interfering with play, and the decision to rule out the goal absolutely right. But there was another incident that provoked some comment.
The surprising thing, I think, to a lot of people was to see you and Brian Clough sitting on the bench between full-time and extra time when managers mostly go out of the field and start giving a few more orders.
What more can you do? You know, they see enough.
But when did you take? When was that decision taken?
Oh, just play it off the cuff. We did this many years ago at Tottenham when it was a draw at full time. and we went on to win 5-3. I saw no point. I thought they'd pull themselves around at that stage. I fancied it in extra time. There was nothing we could have done to help them. They was in good order. There's nothing we could do. Otherwise, we would have gone on.
How did you keep them calmed down? So, I mean, presumably a lot of work must have gone on before the game to make sure they didn't freeze on the day.
Well, we've been talking about it now for the last 10 days. You know, all the work's been done over the last 10 days. I thought the crunch match and the tension match was the semi-final against Leeds. I think that drained us of all we had, as you might say. Today was a bonus for us. We really enjoyed today, and that's the way we came into this match, to enjoy it.
I must say, seeing you squirming on the bench, you didn't seem to be enjoying it that much.
I was cold, and I didn't like Brian's language.
He's getting a bit worked up again, was he?
Just a little, but overall, you know, he's delighted, and so we all are.
You're confident about the replay?
Well, we're always confident. We don't always win, but we're always confident.
The match was there for them to take and win, and they didn't. And we go Wednesday with another opportunity, and I fancy us strongly.
We had so much of the game today and we've got nothing out of it, and now the fear is trying to get going again for Wednesday.
Well, so much then for the Football League Cup final. A knife-edge game, really, that needed just a couple of goals to make it into a great one. And maybe those goals will arrive at Old Trafford on Wednesday night. Remember, it's a game you can see exclusively on ITV that night at 10:30. But there were goals in the Scottish League Cup final between Rangers and Celtic at Hampden Park yesterday in front of a crowd of 55,000. Let's go up to Glasgow now, join the cameras of STV. The commentators Arthur Monford, Rangers in the dark shirts.
Edvalson chasing with Jackson. Edvalson winning it. McCluskey in the centre, Aiken as well. Edvalson doing well to turn and make space for himself. First corner of the match to Celtic. So McCluskey with the corner. Headed in by Aiken. Forsyth caught in possession. Edvalson out in front, a chance for Glavin. A really good chance there for Ronnie Glavin. Tenacious play by Edvalson, setting up the chance. Now Cooper. Lynch intercepting. Edvalson turning it down. Picked up by Glavin. Celtic have an extra man forward now. Aiken going wide on the right. Glavin tries a long one. Spotted late by Kennedy. Still dangerous. Aiken out in front. Edvalson moving in. Tremendous recovery there by Kennedy, saving the day for Rangers. Now Smith quickly to the other end. Cooper unmarked. Back to Smith. Smith going on the outside, but running into trouble. Turns it out in front. Cooper scores! Cooper scores for Rangers. 6 minutes from half-time. Dave Cooper's 7th goal of the season. Made by Gordon Smith. Finished off by Dave Cooper's powerful left foot. Smith knocked the ball infield, first of all, to Cooper. Smith had to come back for it, and then got his head down and went for the line. It looked as if he had lost his chance, but he recovered well, crossed it from the byline, and Cooper left-footed high into the net, got the first goal of the match. This is Aiken. O'Delly. McCluskey. Snedden, who's onside, it's a good move. Edvalson, goal! Out of nothing, Celtic score! Edvalson, his 10th goal of the season. 5 minutes to go, and Celtic from nowhere have fought back and scored a tremendous equaliser. All happened down the right-hand side. Snedden made ground on the right. Got his crossover. Edvalson moved in with Jackson. Kennedy came off his line. The ball finished up in the back of the net. And sensationally, Celtic have equalised. Derry again to the far side. This is McCluskey now. Good running by McCluskey. There's the cross. Tempting one, and it could still be dangerous. Wilson floating it in, Kennedy off his line, headed down by MacDonald. Tundon stopped on the line. McCluskey thumped it in, and it was Derek Johnston who was there to make that save. Wilson's corner hit deep across goal, headed down by MacDonald. McCluskey turned and drove it in as Kennedy couldn't get back. Johnston was on the line, the ball came spinning out, and Rangers breathed again. 3 minutes remaining. Smith to Johnston. Miller coming up as the extra man. There's his cross, there's Latchford, the ball spinning loose, headed in by Smith, and the referee's giving a goal. Gordon Smith scores, 3 minutes from the end of extra time. His 23rd goal of the season, and for the second time in the match, Rangers go into the lead. Alec Miller came up on the overlap, picked up that ball wide, made space very quickly in field, floated it across right-footed. Latchford committed himself, punched it away, and Smith followed up, headed the ball into the net to make it Rangers 2, Celtic 1. And there's the Scottish League Cup, and there's John Gregg receiving it from Mrs. Cathy Weir, the wife of Jim Weir, the long-serving official of Stenhousemuir, who was of course a member of the League Management Committee until last year. And there's the acknowledgement of that victory by the Rangers fans away to our left.
So, a victory for Rangers, and congratulations to them. And that's it. There's another big footballing occasion tonight, though, with the Professional Footballers Association Awards Dinner, and you can see it on ITV at 10:45. I can tell you one thing, Chris Woods, that headline-making young Forest keeper, does not get an award. But after his performance at Wembley yesterday, he clearly is one to mark down for the future.
Forest, and here's Emlyn Hughes. Going a long way forward, good save! Oh, what a good save by Chris Woods. Now Kennedy. Thundering a left-foot shot. Oh, and he's lost it this time. Forest making one or two very elementary mistakes. And again, young Chris Woods getting beautifully behind a shot from Terry McDermott. McDermott away on the left. Here's McDermott. Oh, what a good catch. That's McDermott, but that's the hero.